And we've been finding groups that have common issues with us, common goals, and building that relationship to bring in their support for the Libertarian Party. And to tell them, we are your political go-to guys. You don't need to go to the Republicans or the Democrats. They want your vote, but they don't have your interest at heart. We do. And I really think that we need to go out there and help establish these relationships, establish the connections that we need to have to succeed as a party. Because we're about to see a huge shift in the political landscape. The Republicans are not doing so well. If you see the McCains and Mitt Romneys, they've shown that they can't nominate anybody that gets the vote. If we can go out there and say, guess what? We're here, we have the ideals of freedom, not just the ideals, we have the principles to stand up behind them and put those into action and actually push for liberty in our lifetimes. I think we can get a large amount of people saying, you know what, I think I'm going to vote Libertarian this time. I'm playing that. Thank you very much.
Green.
I'll stand up here for a minute. I'm Doc Green. Some of you heard me on the radio. I'm a relative newcomer, but I have to agree with a lot of things that Clayton said. And one of the things we need outreach. The Republicans have utterly failed the citizens of Texas and the citizens of the United States. I have 9 grandchildren. I am doing this because I care about where they're going to live. I'm an old guy, so it doesn't really matter where I live. But I care about my 9 grandchildren, and I care about you. And because I have the opportunity to get on the radio every day and vent for 2 hours, I can do a lot to bring the visibility of the Libertarian Party up. And that is my goal, just like Clayton's is, and work with these guys to make sure that we're covering all of these events. I likewise, with my associate Johnny Johnson, who's kind enough to fly me around, I go to a lot of events. I get the opportunity to speak to people, and I want to make sure that they know that there is a choice. And if you keep voting for Republican, if you keep voting Democrat, you're going to keep getting the same crap you've been getting. It's time to make a change. I'm Doc Green, and I'm asking for your vote.
Well, since we have a 3-way race, let me mention that it's always an option to not vote. You can vote for none of you or just not vote. But I think we have a good selection here so that that's not one that you're going to consider. But you can always do that, just like you can always go to a primary ballot and not vote for anybody on the ballot. So, is anyone wish to have a seconding speech? Or someone wish to speak in support of a candidate? Mr. Johnson.
I rise to speak in support of Doc Green. He's on the radio 2 hours a day. He has, if we're talking about a politician who's not a politician, someone who's there to get the word out, Doc Green's your guy.
Yeah, I would like to speak on behalf of Clayton Hunt, and many people here have spoken about the need to get the youth involved. He's 20 years old and he's active, and he's well known around campus and around several other organizations. And I think if you've got somebody older, you ought to have somebody younger there reaching out as well.
Is that a theory?
Well, I'm older too.
I'd like to say the same thing, that I believe Clayton has done a wonderful job with the youth, and I think he's participated a lot.
Mr. Joyce.
I'd also like to speak in favor of Clayton Hunt for vice chair. It has been espoused the idea that Clayton could go out and build coalitions with all these groups, without an official title. But how much greater will that message be received if they know it's coming directly from the Harris County Libertarian Party? I hope you will support Clayton Hunt.
All right, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion that we vote by show of hands side, we also have other alternatives. That's what my motion is.
Well, I'd like to say a few words about Gerald Fowler. Gerald has been there for us for the last 2 years. He's comes to us from the, I guess, the Democratic side of the spectrum. He brings a lot of wisdom and experience. He's an accomplished trial attorney, and with that busy practice, he's still done a lot. He hosted one of these precinct conventions and was very instrumental in getting those running, and so he's running for office himself. So I did ask Gerald if he would consider this nomination, so I still think he's the man for the job, even though I love Doc Green and hate Clayton too. So that's why I would say, Mr. Hudson.
Absolute majority required, or is it just a plurality?
If we're going to get a majority, if it's a plurality, we have a runoff, instant runoff. But yes, we need to make this majority vote. Now, as far as voting, our rules do say we should do a secret paper ballot. I think we can do it openly if we choose. And by say our rules, I mean state rules, party rules. Our local Harris County rules say no secret ballot ever. So there's a conflict there. But it's particularly from the 3 contestants, I think they're the ones who would have the right to insist on a secret ballot if they chose to do so. And I would rule that was in order if anyone wants that. Is there any objection from anyone to doing this by a show of hands?
Objection to secret ballots?
No objection to such a duty by show of hands in lieu of a secret ballot. Because we can do that. It's just a matter of time. And when that person else still tied up. Okay, then I'm going to proceed to a vote. Are we ready to vote on the vice chair? The nominee. Yes, Ms. Gibb.
People can vote for more than one person?
No, not one. And if that's not a plurality, we have our count of 61. So 31, you would have to have 31 votes to get a majority. Mr. Sherman.
Are other people participating in council?
I don't want to distract them. If we get to that their votes matter, then I'm going to ask them to stop and weigh in on a vote in order to avoid maybe a runoff. If we get to that point. But at this point, I want them to stay focused on that. If they so choose, of course, they have the right to go away and vote. Ms. Senator.
Yeah, I don't understand telling them they can't vote.
No, I didn't say they can't. I'm not going to insist on it. I'm going to let them decide if they need to stay focused on what they're doing or if they want to vote. But if we need 4 votes to get to a majority, I'm going to ask them if they will vote. I can't make them vote. I can't make them not vote. If you want to ask them to vote, stop what they're doing and vote, you can do that.
I would ask that they stop and vote.
I agree.
Okay. Larry, Mr. Secretary, are you at a stopping point where you could stop and vote?
1 moment.
1 moment.
Why don't we just wait?
1 moment. All right. I'm going to call a question on our vice chair. Nominees are Gerald Fowler, Doc Green, and Clayton Hunt. All in favor of Mr. Fowler, raise your hand.
Over here?
Okay. All right. All in favor of Doc Green, raise your hand. All in favor of Clayton Hunt, raise your hand.